From our free daily newsletter, the latest from podnews.net with Spots Now. Pod News has learnt that YouTube is an undisclosed member of AMP, the Alliance for Measurement in Podcasting, which is seeking to enhance measurement standards. A Google spokesperson has confirmed to us that YouTube has been participating in the AMP-led conversations. It's widely believed that a view in YouTube is 30 seconds of content played, at least for larger shows, aligning with the AMP definition, though YouTube has never published a definition itself. YouTube's often cited as the most popular destination for podcasts. With Spotify as an already announced member, it adds significant credence to the AMP task force's work. Meanwhile, AMP has walked back part of its definition of a play. Defined in their original press release as 30 seconds of content played, audio or video, once per user per session, the corrected text drops any definition of a session length, becoming just 30 seconds of content played, audio or video. A new AI podcast company is flooding podcast directories with hundreds of shows. Fastcast, which has 603 AI-generated shows under the Daily News Now brand, is now selling sponsorships for individual categories. The shows, all hosted by Corey with The Story, are short, timely updates. Unlike competing AI podcast company Inception Point AI, Fastcast episodes always acknowledge that they're AI-generated, compliant with Apple Podcasts content guidelines. In an interview on the Podcast Advertising Playbook podcast, we learned that Inception Point AI have decided to not make an acknowledgement in audio for shorter shows. Do a show on Apple Podcasts in video. Headliner now supports generation of social media clips using Apple Podcasts templates. The tool is prominently being linked from the front page of Apple Podcasts for creators. After a sustained YouTube advertising campaign, Incogni is being used by a number of people to, quote, take back control of your personal information. But if you have a podcast, beware. The company will send misleading legal letters to podcast directories that even include your full name and home address. Probably not what you were looking for if you were looking for control of your personal information. And Betches, an entertainment brand for millennial and Gen Z women, has signed with CAA for representation. The company, which is 15 years old, has a number of podcasts. In People News, David Cohn has been appointed as Chief Revenue Officer at AdLarge. He's previously worked at Westwood One, Spotify and Megaphone. And in podcast news, the Age of Napoleon podcast is with Airwave. It's a history podcast about the life and career of Napoleon Bonaparte, as well as the general context of Europe between the early 18th and early 19th century. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts to enjoy ad-free listening as well. It's with Airwave, and we thank them for their support. Both of Amelia Cerenza's parents and her best friend Sharon died in 16 months after she'd spent her life ignoring the possibility of death. Now she's obsessed with it, going so far as to become a death doula. Cultivate Being was premiered at Tribeca last week. It's a show that pulls death from the shadows and brings it into a new narrative of life. It's produced by Theo Balcom. And a new long-form interview series dedicated to exploring the power and beauty of words, Wadcast, launched yesterday evening. It's from the person behind WOD, Word of the Day, on Instagram. The interviews will be focused on intimate, long-form conversations exploring words that shape the people who are shaping culture. And this podcast is sponsored by Spots Now. The day has finally arrived. Spots Now is the AI operating system for podcast advertising, and there's a webinar today at 2 p.m. Eastern to learn how podcast networks can use AI to maximize their sales output using Claude, Agents, and ChatGPT. It's free to book at spotsnow.io/webinar. You're not too late, or you can use the link for Spots Now in our show notes, unless, of course, you're listening to this after 2 p.m. Eastern, and in which case, you're too late. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe for free, we're at podnews.net.